Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be covering another case study, and this is from Unit E, Leisure, Sport, and Tourism. So it's the exam component paper 1, and I'm going to be talking about the large-scale sporting, musical, cultural, or religious festivals as temporary sites of leisure and their associated costs and benefits. So yes, I'll be focusing on Glastonbury. I think you guys know what a Glastonbury music festival is. It's kind of like the Coachella in England. I'm not sure. It's a good way to think about it that way. So, introduction: Glastonbury Festival is a 5-day festival of contemporary performing arts held near Pilton, Somerset, England in most summers. So, they have like comedy, theater, circus, and all those circuses and all those jazzy type of stuff. So, the first festival was held at Worthy Farm. Pilton Pop, Folk, and Blues Festival, all of that took place at a place called Worthy Farm. I'll show you a map later. So about 1,500 people attended, and admission was €1, but we gotta, consider inflation and stuff. And yeah, you got free milk, which was quite cool. So yeah, look at the satellite image here. This is Worthy Farm. You could see that all of this, it's like farms. It's in the middle of nowhere. But look at it when the festival's happening. It's so packed. All those people, I'm pretty sure those are all like tents, stages, and whatnot. Okay, cool. So look at the mapping, right? What's the relief? So what's the topography of that place? Well, it's flat, right? And the accessibility of this place, well, we could see the A361 highway, major road. It probably, takes people there. And London is close by. It's a major city close by to Worthy Farm. And it's easy to get there, and there's a major international airport near here. You can't really see on a map, but you could search that up later. So the space, there's no space in London to hold such a big music festival. That's why it's in Glastonbury, Worthy Farm. There's a lot of open space. It's so apparent in this map. And yeah, there's no natural features that can get in the way. So there's no mountains. There's no beaches, hills, or anything. It's all flat. So, possible conflict that we might have is between tourists and farmers. It's going to be really loud, noise complaints. I can't imagine how loud it would be. So traffic congestion and pollution, just imagine when the festival ends and A361, their traffic must be horrendous. And there's going to be a lot of littering, okay? And there's going to be a lot of aggressive young drunk people, which I don't think people want to deal with, and between business owners and tourists as well. Okay. So look at the map here. This is the map of Glastonbury. You could see all these kind of services laid out. They even have a medical center and a medical unit, which really comes to show how many people actually go here. And there's bar, there's an ATM. It's basically like a little town. So you can kind of get to see how big of a place this actually is and how prominent, yeah, it is. And there's even a campsite, okay? So you could actually stay here for days. Wow. Okay, so here's a little history about Glastonbury. I'm not going to read all of this, so you could just pause and read it for yourself, but I'm just going to cover a little bit. It's important to know the history about, your case studies, I guess. So, Glastonbury is also you could go there for kind of a niche tourism if you're into history tourism. I don't know if that's a thing, but it could be like that. So there's there's a grave for King Arthur, and it's there's a first Christian church that was built in Glastonbury in the 7th century, all those kind of stuff. 12th century, the Glastonbury Abbey was found, which I believe it's this picture that I put up, and 16th century is destroyed. Yeah, it looks destroyed. And 19th century, Glastonbury experienced a resurgence of interest in its mystical heritage, and it became a hub for spiritual seekers, occultists, and artists. So if you actually go to the place and you watch this documentary about Glastonbury, there's actually people that are interested in witchcraft and all that jazz that, set up shops in Glastonbury because of its, spiritual place. I don't know how to, say that in a nicer way. And then, in the 1970s, they had the music festival where, featuring artists like David Bowie, the Rolling Stones, and U2, they were there. So now, today, The Glastonbury Festival is held on the same farm every year, and it remains a major cultural event that attracts music lovers from all over the world. While the festival has evolved over the years, it still embodies the spirit of Glastonbury as a place of creativity, spirituality, and community. I suggest you watch a video about its history more, because this doesn't really sum it up in a good way. Okay, so Glastonbury eras. This is fun. Okay, so in the 1970s, a lot of hippies, pop, blues, folk music, and counterculture music. There was like a free for hippies, spiritual mentality kind of thing going on. And they built up like a pyramid stage, which kind of is like a symbolic thing of like energy. So it was like Glastonbury at that time was like hippies versus straight society. And it was like really small scale and unorganized. And in the 1980s, they really started to consider the fact that their profit could go to charity, right? So donate profits for peace movements and the CND, like something against like nuclear stuff. I'm so sorry, I didn't research on that. And then the festival became like an anti-nuclear weapon kind of thing, and they would like donate money to them. Yeah, started raising awareness about the environment and stuff like that. In 1990s, they added a circus. That's wild. And the capacity has obviously increased. It's the biggest festival yet in the 1990s. And ended with a clash with police and new age festival goers. In 2000s, overloaded with phones, fans started to protest because they couldn't get tickets. Controversy when Jay-Z was introduced as a main performer, So charities. See, this one good thing, one benefit about like huge music festivals like this is in 2023, recent data, great, more than 3.5 million pounds have been donated to charity by organizers of the Glastonbury Festival. So charities can include the UK Refugee Council, Fair Share, Food Cycle, Beauty Banks, all those stuff, and charities helping asylum seekers have also benefited from support from the festival. You know, I took this quote, "We're proud to have been able to support UK charities working with these groups such as Safe Passage, who help children who arrive in this country alone, and the UK Refugee Council." So it does have some benefits. All the profits can go to charity. Okay, so I added a video here. Yeah, okay. So as you can see from this video, this is what it looks like after the festival's over, if the video would load. Yeah, horrendous. Look at all that trash. I'm not sure if you noticed, it's a drone footage. And all the tents are still up. Yeah, that's pretty wild. So, moving on. So, what we can see from that is the greenery is basically gone. I mean, look at this. It used to be so bright, almost like a highlighter, and it now looks like sewer water. So there's like brown spots everywhere. People trampled on them. It's muddy. That's gross. Easy to see the difference between places where people have been. Like you could see the obvious trails and paths, right? The spots in the grass and in pathway. Yeah, basically I've written the same thing twice. And there's a lot of littering, as you can see here. That is not good. So to combat this issue, Glastonbury needs to be sustainable. That's why they have energy policies. So we can look at the social, economic, and environmental factors of the energy policy. So over the last few decades, we've donated, so this is speaking in terms of me being Glastonbury, we've donated millions of pounds to our partners at Greenpeace, Oxfam, and WaterAid, who all do invaluable work to meet the urgent needs of their planet. That's good. That should be in environmental too. We continue to invest in festivals infrastructure to incorporate new and innovative technologies. So, they have things like futuristic water pumps, which, kind of recycles water. That's kind of cool. You could research on that later. And environmental. So, supporting Greenpeace, installing an anaerobic digester, which captures greenhouse gases from farm waste. That's cool. And they also have an ecological policy. So at Glastonbury, we are passionate about improving the world we live in. We want to make the festival as sustainable as we can and aim to be frugal with resources, minimize our impact on our environment, and commit towards improving the well-being and welfare of all who work at and come to enjoy the festival. So this is a benefit, they have these policies, they have this aim, they have this vision of wanting to be sustainable. But we have to actually consider the cost. Is this actually working? to an extent, yes, maybe, but there's a considerable setback from this festival. So the economic stuff, okay. This is just information. It's not really organized. So all fish, charcoal, and wood sold and used on the site must be from a certified sustainable source, which is also part of the ecological policy. This is good. The festival uses a charcoal supplier from Dorset as part of the wholesale production. So operation. So it's really close to that area. And all milk. I don't know what's with Glastonbury with milk, but all milk sold through traders at Glastonbury Festival must be purchased from the on-site wholesale milk supplier to reduce transport miles. That's good. And the dyes used in the manufacturing of the t-shirts are all reactive dyes, so which are the kindest to the environment for use in commercial garment manufacturing. That's a good thing again. And more environmental stuff, right? The festival has an environmental management system, in place, and a wildlife protection plan, right, to preserve the local ecology and control risk of damage to local ecosystems. They also have a team of litter pickers. I don't know if they're paid, but they have litter pickers. And since 2000s, Glastonbury Festival has planted over 10,000 native trees. That's a great thing. But we gotta consider that thousands, more than 10,000 people go there. And honestly, I think it was one person needs 7 trees in their lifetime. So, they gotta start planting more trees, in my opinion. Okay, Glastonbury works hard to protect vulnerable habitats. Yes, this will be kind of ironic in the later slide. And Glastonbury Festival is actively reducing the number of diesel generators used on site, which is great. And they have this whole list of what you can do, for people that actually attend. So please use the toilets provided. That's number 1. Please use our waste and recycling bins. Please dispose our cigarette butts responsibly. For campfires, please only burn the wood provided. I don't know why people would bring their own wood, but okay. Please use water responsibly. And please only use biodegradable body glitter. That is really surprising that that's in the list. Okay, so this is the thing I was talking about, the ironic part. Drugs in the river. Now you would think, how? Would they just dump it all in? No. So environmentally damaging levels of drugs have been found in the river running through the Glastonbury Festival site. Yeah, very, very strange. But, scientists have warned there are dangerous levels of MDMA and cocaine in the White Lake River in Somerset, which is the place Glastonbury is in. They suspect public urination has caused the increase and urge festival goers to use the toilets provided. So as you can see here, please use the toilets provided. They've been publicly urinating in lakes and the ground, so that's what makes it contaminated. So yeah, that's one thing. And another thing really important to consider about Glastonbury is the policies and these posters they have. Reuse, reduce, respect. I think it's cute. Look at this. Love the farm, leave no trace. Reuse, reduce, respect. So reduce. This aims to reduce the amount of tents left after the concert ends. A lot of people bring tents. Really, really cheap tents they probably buy on Amazon for $5. And they just don't bother bringing it home. So they just leave it there. And no one's going to scream at them if they don't bring it back. Because there's thousands of people. And the words are very simple and direct, the word reduce. And the message is clear, but it really doesn't get heard to some people. So yeah, they bring it for resting and sleeping, and it's a one-time use thing. And yeah, possibilities is they can prohibit the use of tents from now on and make people rely on local accommodation, which probably won't hold that many people. But yeah. And respect. This is the most ideal campaign where they use the word respect. The word choice is adequate and wishes for the concert goers to respect their surroundings, such as the other people and the environment, especially these cows. Did you know that these cows actually eat those tent pegs? So when you hammer a tent on the ground, you use this nail? Yeah, those get left behind when these litter pickers are cleaning up, and these cows eat them essentially, and it actually cuts their internal digestive system. So it's very dangerous for them. Yeah, and lastly, to wrap up this video, I have a 10 marker that my teacher gave me. So examine the impact of one festival, Glastonbury, on the surrounding rural area. So Glastonbury in Worthy Farm or Somerset, England. So what you can mention, examine, right? Let's look at this command term. It means to consider an argument or concept in a way that uncovers the assumptions and interrelationships of the issue, right? So you got to consider the bad and good, right? So mention the place Glastonbury. That's a very important thing. Mention the dead animals. These, graded farms are not so good for the animals. Where's their food? And they might actually eat the tents and trash. Economic benefits. It actually creates jobs. People in Worthy Farm can sell their own yogurt that they make that only gets sold by locals, but when the tourists come, they might receive a lot of income. We never know. And well, I'm pretty sure they do. Trash waste, that's a really, really bad thing. And transportation, traffic congestion, CO2 emissions, all bad stuff. Political, economic, social, all three things to consider there. And it's an international scale thing. So you could perceive it as a good thing or a bad thing. Either way is okay. And noise, obviously, that's a major one there. But I think it's good to cover about the economic stuff and the environmental stuff for this place. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next video.